Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Both been here too long. You can't go back to Ireland or Poland or England, and I can't go back to Africa. And we will live here together, or we'll die here together. And it's not I am telling you. Time is telling you. You will listen or you will perish.
You ever felt?
Are you listening?
Hey everyone, welcome to my new Slightly Annoyed Mixed Chick YouTube channel. You see the glasses, a little bit of glare, sorry about that. I currently have an Instagram and a blog. Instagram, blog, and it would be great if you would check me out at either one of these. But I had felt like, even though I was writing down everything I was feeling in my blog and I was posting really, really informative stuff on my Instagram, which I'm still doing, I wanted to take it a step further. I wanted to reach a wider audience, possibly have guests on here to talk about issues that affect the Black and BIPOC communities, as well as issues that affect women. So here's a little bit about myself. I was born in 1973. You know, I'm a little old, about to be 48. And my dad is Black, my mom is white. And I was born into what's considered the Loving generation. And if you don't know about Loving versus Virginia, Richard and Mildred Loving were a white and Black couple. Richard was white, Mildred was Black, and it was illegal for them to be married. So instead of just accepting the status quo, they went ahead and they brought their fight to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court agreed that that was it. It was no longer illegal to be married interracially in the United States. So from 1965 to 1985, and that was in 1967, that the court case was decided. So between 1965 and 1985, that's considered the Loving generation, being born to one Black parent, one white parent. So here's my mom, here's my dad, big fans, and I'm sure you're wondering why my mom's picture looks old, my dad's picture looks so new, but my mom passed when I was 5, which is, you know, a pivotal time in a little girl's life. So I was raised by my father, and because I was raised by my father, and the time that I was raised, there was still an adherence to the one drop rule. No matter how light you were, and obviously I'm not that dark, you were still Black. You just happened to be lighter. So I know that now, you know, there is a huge mixed population, and there is social media, there's Instagram, there's YouTube, there's so many ways for them to connect, and they've created a community. And I don't mean to say they, because I'm part of that community, but I wasn't raised so much like that. So on one hand, I am mixed, but on the other hand, I do associate myself as light-skinned Black because, once again, the one drop rule, I was born a significant period of time ago. So I kind of see myself both ways, and so I address issues kind of both ways. My dad was pretty, you know, open-minded, incredibly open-minded, especially for the times. He's from Houston, and he moved to Seattle, and he raised me, though, with this inherent love for my Blackness. And it wasn't just the stuff you learn in school that is so watered down and is just so Caucasian in its view. My father made sure that I knew who Malcolm X was, that I knew who Stokely Carmichael was, that I knew who the Black Panthers were. I remember when my dad was younger and I was a little girl, and I remember walking down the street and he would see another Black man walk up to him and just head nod. And so I thought, as a little girl, my daddy knew everybody, just every Black man, they all knew each other. And I asked my dad one day, and he said, no, that's a brother, that's just the way it is. So I was raised that there is just this Black community, and I'm just a part of it. So that's why I address things the way I address things. And the reason I'm saying it now is because there might be some pushback here or there, and I'm totally fine with that. I get that. I absolutely accept that. I'm not unaware that I have a lot of privilege with the color of my skin, with the ambiguity of the way that I look, that I am what makes some people feel better about Black people, but most of those people who want to feel better about Black people are just racist in nature. So I encounter their byproduct racism where they're racist towards dark-skinned Black people, and they bring it to me like I'm going to be okay with that shit. So I have a lot of arguments here and there, and some people seem to think that it's easier to come to me with questions about the Black community than it is their, darker skinned Black friend. And so sometimes I field these questions that don't, make me feel so good. And some I honestly can't answer because I'm too light to answer them. I don't move in that space. So I very often have to redirect them, or give them books or things to watch, because I'm not going to try to answer things from a perspective that I honestly don't have. Yes, the Black community comes in many shades, but with those many shades comes different sets of problems. So I'm just happy to be here, and honestly, I'm proud to be part of the Black community. Wouldn't actually want it any other way. I really wouldn't. So, anyway, how did Slightly Annoyed come about? One of my bestest friends, we were talking about, getting Instagrams together and, doing a little something and putting it out there. And I won't name her because I don't know if she wants me to, but she kind of helped me with the idea. She was like, bitch, you always cranky. How about calling yourself Slightly Annoyed Mixed Chick? And I was like, there. That's what we're talking about. And from there, we rolled into 2.5 Black Women. That's the 2.5 Black Women Insta. And that's the Slightly Annoyed Mixed Chick Insta. I know I showed you, but why not? And 2.5 Black Women was just two of my best friends and me with our perspectives. But she ended up taking it over more, and it's a really fun Instagram. You should check it out. So the problem with how my Instagram started and why I have morphed into what I have is because I didn't know what to do. So I decided to follow all those other influencers and take pictures of orange juice next to a bottle of champagne, take pictures of pretty, flowers and all that stuff. And it was draining because it wasn't real, and it totally real for some people, not for me, wasn't my reality. And so I was floundering, didn't know where to go. And unfortunately, with the deaths of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd, and what happened that summer, and the Black Lives Matter movement, and just a whole months of it, I realized what I really needed to do. And I realized I needed to take the voice that I had and the feelings that I had and my unique perspective on Blackness and the Black community, and I needed to put it out there. And I was so authentic. It felt so good. It felt so real. And it wasn't me just trying to find shit. It was me waking up going, this is on my mind. Let's talk about this. And that transferred over to my blog. My blog is a little bit different. It's extra issues. There's politics, there's work, but it still addresses mostly the Black community. I do like to do a lot of teaching, which you'll see and hear. If it's not your thing, I get that. Just let me know what you're interested in. So with that said, now that I'm here, what do I want to do? And what I really want to do is talk about everything that affects us. I want to hear what you want to talk about. I want to address it. And some of the upcoming topics, one of the biggest ones is I plan on doing a roundtable discussion to address what's going on between the Asian and the Black community and the attacks on the Asian community. So that will be coming up. I also, want to talk about when people say things like, I don't see color, all lives matter, I'm not racist. It helps to invalidate the Black community's voice and why that isn't okay. I also want to do a piece on Donald Trump and why just him leaving office doesn't change the absolutely terrifying, horrible effects of that 4 fucking years on the Black and minority communities. How he has lit a fire under some of the most racist people's asses. And this is something we're going to have to contend with. And on one hand, is it good that they came out of the woodwork? Fuck yeah. So now we know who feels what, but it also put them out there to just do whatever the hell they want. And we know our justice system is not geared towards giving minorities and Black people the fair shot that they deserve. Also, I have Latina daughters and I have a Latino son. And so my challenges in raising Latina daughters, when I am so Black centric and trying to appreciate their culture, as women. And so I want to talk about that too. I want feedback. I want to know, because I'm doing the best I can, and I hope I imparted upon them what they need. I also want to talk about why in minority communities, the LGBTQ community is such a sticking point, why it causes so much pushback, and how we need to go forward from there. This is a new era. We're in a new world. All this hate, absolutely not necessary. And one of the other things that I really wanted to talk about, and there's so much more. There's going to be so much more, and I want to talk to people, not just at people. I want to hear y'all, but I also want to talk about how for minorities and for Black people, code switching is so draining on your psyche and your mental health and your physical well-being. The fact that you even have to, the fact that when you're in a white space, you have to be a different person for these standards that racism created. That's the whole problem. It's not like everybody sat down in this country and said, this is how we all should all act. It was set by one group. And that's it. That's fucking it. And so we have to find ways to meld ourselves into this space that they don't even want us in the first fucking place. So these are some of the things I want to talk about. These are the things I want to discuss, and there's going to be so much more. And I'm so happy that you've stopped by, and please let people know, and I will grow. This isn't it. I will, learn more. I will become more. But I also wanted to talk about this, my sweatshirt, Mix Love, love this sweatshirt. And Mix Love, you can find them on Instagram, or you can find them at mixloveglobal.net. And I love them. So here's their Instagram. Here's their website. Big shout out. Big shout out to them, because I love this sweatshirt. I wear it all the fucking time. Oh, yeah, but I wear it all the goddamn time. So anyway, thank you for coming by. Thank you for giving me a chance. And I hope I don't disappoint.